This is a warning to my associates about the dangers of individuation and dangers of being an individual. I totally get the whole concept of individuation and all that, and that's why usually these days I consider myself to be like an indigenous Persian. Because as you kind of like move into instincts, it's a lot different from the test of individuation. Like, can you actually consider yourself to be different from your parents? Can you consider yourself to be different from your family? So you're kind of like dealing with step parents. If your parents consider you different from them, it's usually because you got parents that actually consider you the same as them. And like the proof of it, like you can match up your lines according to kind of like geometry. And you would probably be stunned by the fact that you wouldn't know anything about geometry unless if you know about sensing, if you know about something like instinct. Because my mind is usually kind of like very heavily basic. It usually applies a lot more like geometry thinking, usually a lot more mathematics. You can't really do that without instincts. You cannot really calculate without instincts. That's why Silicon Valley very heavily rules the world, because they know about instincts very heavily, as much as I would know about instincts. If you guys think you can kind of like create kind of like characters out of something like the Thayamel or something like the Lambda, you guys are very heavily stricken with psychic meltdowns. Maybe you need like CBT to kind of like reshape your cognition to see how very underdeveloped you guys are actually in real life. When you guys cannot really like get out of something like school. What is school? School usually includes socializing at malls. It usually includes socializing at like coffee shops. Usually includes socializing at retail, where you guys are supposed to do work of being cashiers. And a guy like me usually falls out of line with the employers usually all the time. Usually because, a guy like me, I'm for some reason destined for teaching. I wouldn't know anything about music. Well, here's the thing about music. The music models of something like the music of the Spheres, for instance. The music of the Spheres. What is the music of the Spheres? How to locate that on a guitar. Like I was taught, the fretboard is important when you play the guitar. Then again, you taught a more counterintuitive approach from the more mystic route. It's about the right hand. Like most people in the classical guitar world could never really realize that they're playing it very professional. Well, it's a lot more of like a glossier version of something like playing it like the real way. Basically, a lot like Rasciatos. It's the same thing as arpeggiation, very much in real life. Very much like the same thing as actually kind of like doing raking with the leaves, or doing something like cutting the grass with like lawnmowers. Well, grass usually gets taller when you cut the grass with lawnmowers. Hair becomes, for instance, a lot longer the more you cut it for various periods of time. Unless if you're basically a derelict that can't grow hair. Well, if you're a guy that actually produces testosterone that still has short hair, it would still count you as, for instance, a Sigma male no matter what. Most people would not really recognize that I still have short hair to this day, and I usually keep it well. Very heavily. And they wouldn't realize that I am an English speaker, for instance. I usually use a lot more technical terms like bourgeois or something like bourgeois.